Hi guys! Today I'm going to be talking about how you can insert visible structure in your document. Why would you want to use visible structure? What are we talking about when we say visual structure? It's really organizational structure, or a way to find information in the document without having to read through all the text in the document. Right? So your textbook for engineering communication is an example of a technical document, a long technical document that uses headings effectively to create visual structure. You can flip through a chapter and find out how the chapter is organized without having to read the entire chapter. And that's useful, right? I'll be talking today a little bit about conventional headings and informative headings and what the differences are between these two methods for creating headings. I'll be talking about numbered lists and a little bit about bulleted lists too. That's included in that category. And then clustering, what that is and how you can use that to create visual structure in your document. Finally, I'll mention a few notes about formatting in IEEE, but I'll create a separate video specifically on IEEE and using IEEE in this class. So conventional headings versus informative headings. Conventional headings are the sort of generic headings that you might think of when you think of headings for an example document. Okay, introduction would be the first one. Then you might have some project summary section or a conclusion or various other sort of generic sounding headings. These can be useful because these really meet the audience's expectations, exactly what they're expecting to be at the beginning of a document. That's the introduction. And so they know what an introduction is supposed to do. And reading that section, if that is in fact introducing the document and the content that's going to be in the document, that's going to meet their expectations and it's going to help them to move smoothly through the document. At the same time, if the headings are too generic, that could be unhelpful because they should give some information about what is going to come in the section. So that's where informative headings come in. Informative headings are more specific, they're less conventional, and they describe the content in the section. What we're going for here is we really want you to create a balance between these. We want your headings to be somewhat conventional. For example, you definitely want to have an introduction in your documents because that's a really helpful beginning to a document. And then in the rest of your document, you're going to need to make decisions about how to balance the conventional nature of the heading and the informative nature of the heading so that your audience is able to move through the document and understand what's coming in that section, and also learn a little bit about the content of the section. Numbered lists. You can see my little bears there. They all have a number on them, but otherwise they're exactly the same. And this is a description of what numbered lists actually do because they don't create any relationship other than a sequence, one coming after another. They might be numbers or steps in a process, or they might just be items in a list that all have equal value. Lists are not for complex relationships, note. And the same is true for bullet points. Okay, longer is really less effective when it comes to lists. Lists are a short punchy way to get some key information across in a way that visually pops out and is easy to find. The list, if it's too long, it really doesn't serve that purpose because it's going to be difficult to find the information in it. Finally, clustering. So basically, clustering is building on the idea of numbered lists and making them explain more complex relationships by representing the relationships between ideas with nesting in lists. You can see an example that comes straight from your book. Here on the left, there is a list with 5 items that all look like they have a similar value. And then On the right, you see the improvement of that list. Actually, the first two items in the list have a similar value, but the ABC sub-items actually have a relationship that is subordinate to the second item in the list. Finally, IEEE format. That is another way that you're expected to visually structure your document. This class is going to be blending IEEE requirements with the specific needs for the assignments, and we will give those to you in the assignment instructions. You can use the IEEE guide, and you should use it, that we've linked onto the syllabus and on the assignment documents. And then you'll also use headings, lists, and idea clustering, as I've discussed in this video, to organize your documents visually. And I'll be explaining how to use IEEE a bit more in a video on IEEE. Okay, happy drafting!